Has there ever been a project that came across your radar that was looking for financing, and they were marketing it and showcasing it, and you just felt connected to it, and then you decided to go finance it? Has that happened for you guys? And that's just for the two of you. Let me say something.
Yeah, I was gonna answer your other question, but this kind of ties into it. Yeah, for sure. I think I've received projects that have come in, and I've looked at it, and I've been like, the filmmaker is, has a track record, or has a brand, or it's just something that's unique. And like, I spend all of my time, like, even though when I'm not auditioning, I spend my time studying platforms, studying movies. I'm always researching, and so I'm sitting at the kitchen table, literally, like all day, every day, just diving in. And
when she says the kitchen table, she means her company, not
literally, that's why it's called at the kitchen table. Eight years at the kitchen table, like 14 to 16 hours a day studying this game. There has been, because like either the script is elevated, or the branding ideas in the deck, or whatever it is, something is so unique. I talk to acquisition a lot, maybe it's hitting those buttons, and I'm like, yeah, this is something that we need to look at seriously and queue up. But back to your original, I think the question was like the marketing of the project.
Correct.
To me, that would be, that's why these film festivals are critical. Crucial, because this is where you network, this is where you get your film screened, this is where you can pick up distribution. We had 2 projects that screened here, 2 feature films. One was a closing night film, produced it and starred in it, and another film that we produced, and I also starred in that one, was like a centerpiece film, feature films. And we raised it, private equity money, both films under $250K. And the first one went on to get distribution with Netflix, and then it rolled over to, I believe, All Black, and then the other one went to Tubi, or It's on All Black, or whatever it was. It both got distribution. So I think these festivals are crucial for that.
And Netflix wasn't applauded enough for the festival that year.
Yeah, and we went straight to Netflix, and it was like right out the gate.
Straight to Netflix.
Yes, all of a sudden we had a deal with Netflix when our sales agent was like, well, guess who wants the film? It was Netflix. And I said, you know what? I said to the team, that was PAF.
So would you consider your festival strategy also part of the marketing strategy as independent? Jelani, Jackie, anybody can answer that. Should that also be part of whatever the marketing strategy is going to be for film? Because film festivals are expensive to submit to and attend and whatnot, but should that be part of the strategy and part of the budget?
I think it's all about strategy.
Yeah,
period.
Sure.
It's whatever city that you're going to. Like when I was going to answer your question, it's really, again, comes back to the data. I'm analytical, so I'm always kind of relying on the data. A lot of filmmakers think that they have to be the biggest in the United States or whatever. Instead of, I can only use me as an example because I own it's a black-owned streaming network. So me going to, there's a company called Freewill owned by Fox that runs all of the advertisements on Fox, on all the Fox platforms. They turned me down after I walked into the room. To answer for about the D, they turned me down. So I went to the next biggest company, it's called Publica. And before I did that, I did strategic marketing, which I tell all filmmakers to do. Because my streaming network is the next generation of film creators. That's what we showcase. You won't see big projects on there for $10, $20 million. You won't see that. You can go to the other platforms and they can bid for that. But the strategy that I did was I found every address that Publica's executives went, and I bought advertisements all around. So everywhere they went, before I had a meeting with them, they seen my company's name. So when I walked into the room, they believed that I was bigger than what I was. And I had to do that because I'm black. I just got turned down by Freewill. And I have everything. I have the titles. If you look at the platform now, it doesn't look like it's black owned. Sorry to say that, but it doesn't look like that because I have all types of content on the platform. So I tell every filmmaker now to be strategic. If you have sorry to say this, if you have an urban hood movie, go to where the hood is. Go to St. Louis. go to Ohio. There's about 300,000, 400,000 people there. Get 25,000 people from each one and make $10 from each one. That's $500,000 to go do your next project. But everybody has this big idea that, oh, I need millions of this and I need millions of that and I need to be popping over here. No, go where your market is. You know, go where your market is. Be strategic with your film. If your actors are from this city, like you said, go to that city. Do film festivals in that city. Buy advertisements in that city. Don't spend marketing dollars on Facebook and Instagram doing a genre. Do it for that specific zip code that you're going to be in. Even for speakers, when you're going to go do panels and stuff like that, you can run ads for where you're speaking at for your company or for what you're doing before you go into the meeting or before you go speak. So across their phone, when they're doing leisure time, you pop up in their head.
So are you all aligned that the film festival strategy needs to be part of the marketing strategy, or are you aligned on that? Okay. And that it should be in the budget because of the, so that you have those costs. Okay, so just a little something. We have to have some takeaways for the audience. So
I think it's because for me, like if you can shoot your project and then sell it and make a lot of profit margin if you can, then you can just gain that liquidity. And if you can finance it up front, then you can start a little bidding war. You know, that's like my kind of philosophy if it has the right elements in the project.
And I wanted to talking about what we're talking about. A good friend of mine, I can't remember his film, but his name is Christian Hill, and he did a docu feature centered around music. And I believe Christian is originally from Detroit, so it was I think it's house music. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Christian Hill? Any of you guys? Well, he put his film into festivals like about maybe 3 years ago. Did very well, right? To this day, he's still making money off of it. He distributes it himself, right? Not only that, he takes it to schools, centers, and he's profiting off of it 3 years later, every month. So he's passionate about music, first of all. So whatever the case may be, as far as your strategy is concerned, it can be a particular project, whatever you're passionate about. You can use the educational realm to make money. You can book yourself through a college tour or what have you with your particular project. There's always ways to skin that carrot.
And Jelani, every time you say skin that carrot, your films are a lot largely within the Hollywood system, and they generally have a marketing team. But as a producer, do you do some marketing on top of their marketing in case their marketing might be lacking a little bit?
All the time. I think that's part of like the value add that I provide, just because of who I am as a human being. It's a different perspective. So yes, you definitely have to double and triple check their work, and I'm in a lot of those meetings right now, for sure.
Okay. Before we open up to questions, can you please tell everybody how to subscribe to your streaming platform, how many subscribers you have? Give us a little bit about that.
It's free. Just download it. It's VYRE, Vire. It's a free streaming network. The only thing that does cost on there, we have pay-per-view boxing matches. So we do about 111 pay-per-view boxing matches a year around the country. So that's the only thing. It's like $19, $20.
Okay. And I'll open it up to, I was going to ask you another question, but it would put you on the spot, and I don't want to do it. You open? Yeah. Okay. Do you need to have an agent or manager to pitch to be on your platform like you would to talk to Jelani? You're going to have an agent or manager?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to have that. No, you just need to have your stuff together. Come together. I lead panels like this, tell people how to actually, present and bring things to companies. We get probably 60, 70 submissions a day on the platform. Yeah, we have 1.6.
You submit directly on the platform?
No, you can submit it through the website.
Okay.
Or you can just email programming at Fire Network, and a guy named Ryan, ask for him. He'll look over your stuff. I don't watch or read none of the stuff. There's no way I could watch 5,000, 6,000 titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna open up for questions now. Are there any questions? Right down here.
Hi, I'm Magdalena Albizu. I have a film documentary called Negrita. So I wanted to get more information of your thoughts, because most of you spoke about scripted. What about documentaries? What are your thoughts about the documentary world?
Our question is about the documentary world, since there was a lot of discussion about scripted today.
I feel as though that this is the information year. Everything's about information, so documentaries is hot.
Mm-hmm.
If you turn a documentary into series, you're worth more money to me. And I'm just being real. You're worth more money in a series because that same person that will watch that first episode will watch all the other episodes. And me running commercials on one episode, now I triple that. So just think about that. But series, documentaries is really, really important. And then you can take the documentary to the next level, to a short film, to a feature film. And it gives you the data of building your own audience already that's packed into your projects.
Are you from Brooklyn? You go to Emmanuel Baptist with my aunt, Elizabeth.
I do!
Yes, you do. She told me about your doc. Let's talk after.
Okay, yeah.
Shout out to Emmanuel Baptist.
Look at God.
Yeah, I know. I heard about the documentary Negrita. Yeah, so nice to meet you.
You too.
I can't wait to watch it.
Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn in the house.
I wanted to add to that documentary, what I just mentioned. I mentioned a gentleman by the name of Christian Hill. His project is a documentary, right? And also, I've done some documentaries. My last documentary I produced is called House of Cardin, centered around Pierre Cardin. And it, in reference to features, as far as, staying on the film scenario, I would say everything that we talked about, it goes for these documentary features as well.
The only Emmy nomination I ever got was a couple years ago. I produced a doc called The Supreme Team, and Nas directed it, and it was about Supreme and those guys out of New York. And we did not make a ton of money on it. Showtime distributed it, but we did get a lot of visibility. And I think it's interesting with documentaries. A lot of the stuff that's salacious, whether it's like Tiger King or some of the killer stuff, or I don't know, that stuff tends to make a lot of money, but that's not oftentimes what real documentary filmmakers want to make. So it's a difficult space to navigate. I guess that's all I can say.
And you have two that you're working on, the Dilla doc and the...
The Dilla project is a feature.
It's
a scripted feature about his life.
Okay.
Yeah. Morgan Cooper, who created the reboot of Bel Air, is writing and directing that movie.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Question down here.
Yeah, again on the documentary thing. Okay, so I have a documentary series.
Do you want to say your name? So I know
My name is Valerie Goodlow, and I have a documentary series. It's called Before Your Time, An Unprepared Journey. It's about gun and gang violence in Chicago. I worked on it for 7 years. And then out of that, I made a film called Love Is Not Enough, to kind of bring attention to the docuseries. So it's won Best Documentary Film, Audience Awards, and all that. And I shot it, did it, everything with a budget of nothing, and trying to find somebody to even. And I also have focus groups where I've got hundreds of people who have watched the film, kind of like a urban film now that's being taken over by the police department and schools and stuff like that, and I just can't find anybody who's in the business to look at it enough to see where we can distribute it.
Her question is about a film that she's done, and she's having trouble, for those in the back who can't hear, she's having trouble getting it in front of eyeballs. So what would you guys recommend?
The best thing to do for me, get in a room. You have to immerse yourself into areas that people like us is at. That's all it is, and just speak and talk. You take pictures, and you're a camera person, you have press credentials. Get into every room that you can with those press credentials. And then just tell somebody, hey, I got a doc, I want you to check out. People think that they can just go out and look at Google and pick up the phone and call. No, you have to be and get in the room. If you're not in the room, you're not gonna get seen or heard. So go to where you want to be distributed. Go on their LinkedIn, go on their Facebook, find out where they hang out, and you go there.
This is going to be potentially controversial. Sometimes you just got to do it and release it. There are so many instances, like you go to somebody's Wikipedia page and it's like, that's the money calling. That's the money calling you.
I was waiting on it. There it is.
There it is. Look at God. God is working today. But there's so many times you like read about somebody historically and people didn't discover the thing maybe when they were alive or later in life, but then people are like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Maybe it's time to reallocate your energy to something else. And when the season for that comes back around, if it comes back around, it's come back around. But that's the thing about like creation. We can't be like, sometimes we just gotta go, like move forward. And that's where the inspiration and the beauty comes from. So I know it can be frustrating, but this system isn't set up for us either. And it does something to your dignity when you're walking around trying to beg somebody to pay attention to something that you know is incredible. Forget them. Because like over time, like when time interrogates the work, the truth will come to light. So move forward.
What's the
I just wanted to say if you have finished content, if it's finished and it's the post is good and all of that, and you have a screener link and you have your deck, I mean, you can just, there's so many sales agents. I mean, there's sales agents for documentaries. I have colleagues that have done documentaries and showcased them all the way over at cons and different things like that. And there are documentary sales agents that they focus on that. So just give it to one of them, let them source it and see where it goes. But there's too many platforms out here, if you have finished content, not to self-distribute and buy some ads and promote it and make your money. You said you made it for nothing. You're ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. As long as the quality is there, the production value is there, you're winning.
I know I'm the moderator, but as in the intro, I am a film festival person. Have you been submitting to film festivals?
Yeah, and this year it won 2 film festivals.
It won 2 film festivals? So it has been in front of eyes, right?
It was in Cannes last year.
And,
It was in what?
Pan African last year.
Okay, so you have been in front of eyes. You want to specifically get to distribute it. So all the information they're giving you about, from what Jelani is saying, put it on YouTube. Make sure you know you as a filmmaker. Make sure that you're, creating a market whenever you go to these film festivals, as David was saying.
What's the subject again of your?
it's about gun and gang violence in Chicago. And it's really, it's a national problem. So it's really goes from the time the bullet leaves the gun into what can we do as a community to change it.
Well, you're here. Did you talk to anybody about it here before this moment?
Did I talk to anybody here?
In the festival, about your project before
Well,
this moment?
and just to say this, I don't, it doesn't really appear that this is a place for distribution. I mean, it's a good place to show your film, but I've never, in the time that I've been here and been involved, 'cause I had another film here that won the audience award, but I couldn't, I was so, well, where are the distributors? And so I didn't see, I never saw a distributor or someone that could move it any other place.
Well,